Here we are again. Another episode of Hanging with Daddy. This is episode 6. I honestly thought that DLF was going to cut off my access to their StreamYard after like 1 or 2 episodes. They apparently don't know I still have access, and I post to their page. So we're going to keep this rolling until they fire me. And tonight might be the night because we have one of my best friends and one of the craziest people in the fantasy industry. I literally don't even know what's going to happen on this show. And that's saying a lot because they've all been kind of off the wall. So what we're going to do, because I just want to get right to it. I just want to get to my friend. I'm going to let you listen to Gabe, which I know is your favorite part of the show. Then I'm going to bring him on. So here we go. Here is 1 minute of an absolute banger. Hanging with Daddy's intro music. The best in the business.
Get down. Turn on the pod cause we looking at live right now. Peeling it back, take a quick look inside up. All of these analysts, Daddy gon' handle this. Know he's a baddie, I know he ain't bad at this. We gon' lay back, talking irrelevance. Why do all that? Just for the hell of it. Hanging with Daddy. What's the vibe though? Late night vibes. Hanging with Daddy. What's up, Mike? Turn it on right now. I got the remote now. Hanging with Daddy. Let's go. Late night vibes. And we're hanging with Daddy. Turn up. Turn it on right now. Daddy got control now.
Absolutely love it. All right, we are heading into week 8 of the football season. The Bipocalypse, Bimageddon, whatever you want to call it, is now behind us. Everything's back to normal, which is great, right? Geno Smith, still an absolute star, starting quarterback. Everybody's hurt, but, you have at least 5 people that aren't hurt on your roster, I'm guessing, so you'll be just fine. So tonight we're not going to cover anything about football. You got this. You have it under control. Still, we're just going to have some fun with my buddy. You know him and you love him. He's from 2 QBs. He is the first person that introduced me to Superflex in 2 quarterback leagues. I'd never heard of him before. I was scared to death, but I took his advice and became the rock star that you now get beat by in every single league we're in together. He's from 4 for 4. His actual title on 4 for 4 is one of my favorite things. He's the head of lifestyle and fun stuff. Turns out that's not actually a contractual title. It's one he gave himself, but one that we're going to echo because I think it should be celebrated. It's absolutely spectacular. He is the creator of Are You Rolling or Are You Trolling? And Make It Until You Fake It. 2 of the best 1-episode YouTube podcasts in history. He's your pal. He's my friend. And he's legitimately one of the nicest people you will ever meet in your entire life. We're going to bring him out right now. Sal Stefanile, your pal Sal. What's up, buddy?
How's it going?
What's up, my man? I noticed we have a little change in our handle tonight.
This is your house, so it's your rules. I got to abide by them.
So you're now in Daddy's townhome?
That townhome, yep.
I like it.
A little Canadian flair to it.
That is, I like it. I like it. You always have to bring the Canadian because, you are our first Canadian guest. This is the first time that we've been hanging internationally.
Is that only because you only know one Canadian?
No, I know Thomas too. And Jacob. I think I know 3.
Okay. So why haven't they been on the show yet?
Well, I don't know. You were first.
Why was I first?
I don't know. Do you want me to ask you if they want to hop on and you can go after them?
Thomas and Jacob.
I mean, I don't know. I thought that you wanted to come hang out.
I always want to hang out, but why at the expense of Thomas and Jacob?
Because I like you better than them.
Wow.
No, I'm just kidding. No,
wow.
it's because we're building up to better guests. They'll be later.
Okay.
When I get So what I do is with all of you, I get when I'm nervous because I'm just starting out. It's episode 6. I brought all people on that people don't want to watch anyway. Because that way I'll get all the mistakes out of the way.
That's why you already had Troy on.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. No one even knows who that guy is. And I'm like, yeah, you can come on. And I figured since I don't know how to edit, I could make a bunch of mistakes, but who's going to notice, right? So I brought on Troy. I brought on Cooter. I brought on Jake. I brought on Chris Allen. And each time I've tried to get like a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And now you, as my first test run on international. And then from there, I'll bring on Thomas and Jacob, like when I'm polished, because we want them to be stars. So
it feels like America's top runway international.
It is, and you're the model. So we're all going to critique you. and see where we go. So the biggest thing, obviously, is we want to know is, what kind of talent do you have? Like, how are you going to entertain our guests?
Oh man, that's a good question. I have no skills. I got no talents. I can drive people around if you need a ride somewhere.
Well, you can't. Are you allowed to come over the border yet?
November 8th.
Okay,
Get
so
your
you
tickets
can't.
ready.
So you can't drive us around yet.
I can drive people in Canada around as a test run.
You can get Thomas and Jacob.
Yeah, tell me where they live. What are their addresses? I need their addresses. I need their mother's maiden name and their social insurance numbers.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that won't be weird. I can ask them that. That's not a problem. They probably just give it to me freely.
So I've watched every episode of this show, and
You're
I
the
was
one.
wondering how you're going to introduce me, because you give everybody like the most amazing compliments when they first come on. That I kind of just assumed you would run out of them by this point.
No.
Like Russ was like the most amazing. He was the most amazing human being you know. So first off, like I don't know how you can even get better than that. Like why didn't you not stop the show after episode 1?
Oh well, Russ is the head of the podcast for DLF.
Okay, I see.
And yeah, realistically, since he watches these and has control over like whether they get posted, you couldn't come back with something better for the next guest.
Okay, all right. Well, but you just said I was the only person that's seen every episode.
You are. I just don't know spot checking. Most people, we talked about this. Most people listen to the intro because Gabe's song is so fire.
Okay. Yep. No, 100%.
I don't know if they go past that. I don't. I can't. It's a horrible show. So I stop right after the intro music is up, which is weird because I could just play it. I have it on my laptop. I don't actually have to, but it gives me another view when I click on it, I think. And that way it looks like I'm accomplishing something.
But so like Russ, he was the most amazing human being. You said Jake was like the best person in Twitter, and he wore a suit on
He did.
show.
He did.
What was up with that?
I mean, but
that was the most like amazing flex move you could make in this industry. Just show up on someone's live stream wearing a suit.
But you're wearing the most amazing T-shirt that I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I wear this shirt every day.
Yeah, maybe, but I hadn't seen it before, so I was excited. I'm a big fan of Roadhouse, as you know. We both write for the Agent Cooler, obviously an homage to the greatest movie of all time. So when I saw the shirt, I was excited.
You're like the last person who still writes. Do you even write for that website? I haven't seen a byline in a while from you.
Oh, it's coming.
Okay, because I know Cooter left. She took her mixtapes to Trophy Smack. I don't blame her. Way more of an audience over there.
And we're getting paid over there, which is cool too.
Well, I would have paid you guys if you asked.
I didn't know that was the rule. I didn't know you had to ask. I thought it just happened, which is probably why I've been doing this for free for far too long. I think what's the last one I did? I did the retrospective on Hardball, and then I did. What was the last one I did?
You did some talking smack stuff there, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did Trash Talk 101 there. Oh, and that was what I was going to do. I'm going to do my Fishbowl retrospective over there.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up the website. You did Trash Talk 101.
That was a good article.
July 20th.
And my next one's going to be Fishbowl. So I was going to do a Canton retrospective, and I started writing it. And I read it, and I realized nobody would actually care about it but me. So I just left it.
That shouldn't be any excuse to stop writing.
I don't think anyone cares about anything I write but me, but still, we ended up there. But no, more is coming at the Agent Cooler. And I still, if you watch every podcast I've been on, it's still mentioned. And it's on my Fishbowl profile, the Agent Cooler. The only person in the Fishbowl playing on behalf of the Agent Cooler, in fact.
Because you're the only good analyst on the site who's actually good at fantasy football. Can't bring shame to such a great blog name.
No, I try to boost it up as best I can. It's in the top 100, so you're on the leaderboard. The Agent Cooler shows up right on the leaderboard. In that top 100.
If you win the Scott Fishbowl and it says "Daddy's Home of the Agent Cooler," you need to have a picture of Patrick Swayze on that trophy somewhere.
100%.
Oh, but you work at Trophy Smack now. Like you can just ask them to make a trophy and like a bust out of Patrick Swayze from Roadhouse.
Okay, Matt. I know you're watching.
Yeah, Matt, make it happen.
Make it happen, Captain.
Or the scene in Dirty Dancing when she runs up and he catches her, and the most iconic scene in all of movie history.
So I did that with Wyatt.
I could be on
Kenton.
the bottom, you could be on the top, and that could be the trophy.
I like that. So I actually did that with Wyatt and Kenton. When I saw him, he ran into my arms and I lifted him and twisted him, but I couldn't lock out my elbows because he's too big for me to do that. But I got him overhead and spun him, which was the most Patrick Swayze thing I've ever done.
See, why? Okay, just make that the trophy. I feel like Trophy Smack can make that happen. I've seen their work. I feel like
they're
could
outstanding.
Do anything.
And by the way, while we're on the topic of Trophy Smack, if you use code Daddy, you get a free ring with every trophy. Just make sure both are in the cart. Yeah.
What does code SalPal get you?
I think maybe a few bucks. I don't know. I can try to see what happens. Right, I'll put it in there. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. So listen, I wanted to talk about us in particular. The story of the calzone. Now, do you remember the story of the calzone?
How could I forget this story?
Okay. So what I want to do is I want you to go ahead and tell people the story of the calzone. I want to hear your side of it as you got the play-by-play of everything that happened during that time.
So I believe this was around Scott Fishbowl Podathon time. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure exactly what you do over there. Is it like booking guests or finding sponsors? But you have some sort of involvement in the Podathon. And I remember you just tweeting about like how exhausted you were working like all these late nights or whatever the hell it was you're doing, trying to get ready for this SFB Podathon. And I'm like, well, Mike's my friend. Mm-hmm. I always see people sending like alcohol to everybody else involved, like John Bosch for his eliminators. I want to like send them so much beer, and Sal Lito got all this candy from that one website. I can't remember what it was called. And I'm like, well, Mike likes sandwiches. Mm-hmm. I should do something nice for him. So I DM'd you. I asked you for your address, and I told you can't know what it's for. So I went on DoorDash. I put your address in. I'm like, let me see if I can find like a really good sandwich place. And then I'm looking. I actually found a really good sandwich. Like the toppings, it sounded pretty delicious at the time. Don't ask me what it is because I forget now. But then I saw there's a place in your area called Sal's. I'm like, well, this is kismet. I have to order from here. Mm-hmm. I didn't get you like a sandwich because they didn't have any, but they had a calzone, which is just basically a pizza made to be a sandwich. If you've never had a calzone before. And then I'm like, let me see something good on here. And I order it. I send it through. And then I get a picture of the delivery text to my phone saying the drop-off has happened. And so then I send that picture to you. And you're like, oh, shit. I just like gave this sandwich back. I told the driver, like, this isn't for me. I don't want you to get in trouble. Just take it back and get the hell out of my lawn. And then you told me the story. And I'm like, no, that sandwich, I bought you a sandwich. It's for you, you dummy. Didn't you like try and chase after the driver for a bit to try to get the sandwich back?
No, so what happened was I didn't want to get her in trouble, so I showed her my receipt from what I had actually bought from DoorDash 20 minutes earlier. And I was like, no, look, I got this. And she's like, well, I already hit delivered, so now I can't see what happened. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want you to get in trouble, so here, you take this, and that way you can show your boss. Not thinking that DoorDash doesn't actually have local bosses. I'm not a thinker. So after we had talked, I called Sal's. And I told them what happened. The restaurant. I told them what happened, and they started making fun of me.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
And so they made me another calzone, and I hung out with them eating the calzone that you bought me and sent you a picture of my new friends who were telling their friends the story about how they had to make me another calzone because I made the DoorDash lady take the first one back.
I will say though that you're definitely a man of high morals to try and not get this delivery driver in trouble. Most people would just be like, "Oh, free dinner, yes."
I really thought that like she could get in trouble, that it was going to be a problem, and that I had someone else's food, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to steal anything from anybody." So yeah, that was the driver, me and you, and the two guys at Sal's Pizza had a very interesting night right after the Podathon. That was a story I don't think I'll ever forget.
See, now you have another best friend named Sal who owns a restaurant.
That's true.
I'm sure like anytime you go into that place now, they'll remember you. Like, okay, that's the idiot who came back because he had a free sandwich and wanted to not get the delivery driver in trouble. Let's just give him free sandwiches for life, or free calzones and pizza for life.
I don't know if they're willing to do that, but I will try again. I'm going to walk back in and order something and not say anything, and then see if they make me pay.
Do you have a guest lined up for next week?
I do.
Okay, what about the week after that?
I don't. I can bring on the guys from Sal Stefanile.
Yeah, bring them on and have them explain the story, and then just sell this as like a very unique advertising experience where they don't have to pay you; they just have to pay you in calzones for life.
For the amount of viewers that I get,
well, you don't have to sell the amount of viewers. What you sell is the amount of subscribers.
Oh,
see, there's almost 4,000 subscribers on the Dynasty League football channel.
There is, and yet none of them could actually click on this show for some reason.
And then you tell them about the social media reach that you have.
Ooh. Just
because people don't click on it, they don't need to know about that.
Man, I mean, I should just go all the way and tell them I'm Ryan McDowell.
Who says you can't do that right now? I
think I could. Yeah, I think if I change my ad and just said that I'm Ryan, I think we'll be okay.
Hello, I'm Ryan McDowell. This is the Dynasty League Football YouTube channel, sponsored by Sal's Pizza.
You really
how would they not know?
Because it's the internet. You can't lie on the internet. It's illegal. I'm pretty certain anyway. All right, but listen,
let's look into that.
This is supposed to be about you, and we're talking about pizza. All right, so tell me, 4 for 4. You do a 4-minute episode with folks that seems to never be 4 minutes. I don't know. Do you not have a watch?
Oh, there's a timer in the clock. There's a timer on this one. You know how StreamYard works. Look, we're at 16 minutes and 43 seconds.
I know, but do you not look at it during the show?
Oh, I look at it the entire time.
And no, you're just not going to be at 4 minutes? Have you just accepted defeat like before it even starts?
I've tried a few times. The closest we got was 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I couldn't even make it on brand with 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
Oh,
I had to do that extra second.
That would have been amazing.
We had this last week. I got pretty close. We did like 5.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only reason that it needs to be under 10 minutes, like that's the maximum amount, is that means I don't have to edit anything. I can just post a video on Twitter.
I like it. I don't edit this at all. We like things just kind of the way they are.
My regular first co-host, George Criticos, a former DLF icon, he began dubbing the show as the 4+4 minute drill, which worked.
I like that.
That is beautiful. It even sounded nice.
That is really nice. Yeah, that's got a good ring to it. So speaking of 4 for 4, following 444 people.
Yep.
Yesterday, I see Frank Duffy celebrates his entry.
Yeah, Mr. Ramondre.
Yeah, Ramondre. The video is spectacular, even though his take was horrible. And I told him that up front, but he didn't want to listen. But here we are. So I love seeing people celebrate being followed by 4.
It is pretty funny because they all think that they are legitimately the 444th person to ever be followed by that account. And I don't want to break their bubble.
Nope, and that's fair. What I want to know, what about the person who's out?
Like someone on the Twitter mentioned yesterday, we don't need to speak ill of the dead.
They're just gone.
They're just gone. Poof.
Quietly, like no exit
so there's
interview.
There's a 4 for 4 Twitter bot. At a certain point, they see some new accounts. They're like, oh, that's a pretty good Twitter account. We should follow them. And then the Twitter bot puts in the algorithm. Some sort of code comes out. Okay, this person is in. This person is out. I don't question it.
No, there's no like stack ranking or anything of like your favorite follows.
No, not that I can say publicly.
I mean, because I should be near the top. After that intro I gave you. Because it's funny when Frank got followed, he's like, well, who got cut? I'm like, if it's me tomorrow night, it's going to be really awkward.
There was, I think, is this the same Wyatt that you were talking about earlier? Because there was a Wyatt in the comments kind of wondering like who got cut. And there is a part of me that was tempted to like just mess up with the Twitter algorithm to somehow get Wyatt to be the next follow and for Frank to be unfollowed.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
But I don't know how to code.
No, that's fair. Once the bot is coded, it's pretty much,
It's done. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so your Patrick Swayze obsession, where did it start? What was the first Patrick Swayze movie you saw that you were like, this is the person that I am going to watch all his movies and follow to the ends of the earth?
It was Roadhouse.
Was
I
the
was
first?
in university, and at the time they played Roadhouse almost like 24/7 on TBS. And
Nice.
it was on one time randomly, and I didn't change the channel, and I started watching it. And I like, this is one of the most ridiculous movies I've ever seen in my life. I need to watch like the uncut version of this, like the non PG made for TV version,
Hmm.
because there's just like some stuff that happened in that movie was just out of this world, unbelievable. But then also one of the funniest lines, which I thought was actually like the TBS censors that put it into the movie, because you know how they would like censor swear words or like words that were
Hmm.
too dirty, and they would like flub them in with like really funny stuff like that mother frogging dude is going to kill my mother. And like there was a line where this gentleman was just trying to describe the female genitalia top
Hmm.
portion, and he used the word attitudes. And like, I never heard someone call them attitudes. I legit thought that was TBS putting that word into the movie. I watched the DVD version of it. Nope, like that was the screenwriter put that into the actual movie.
Yeah, there were a few lines in there that caught me by surprise. There was one about prison that
Oh
that
yeah,
that
the
shook me to my
breakfast.
core a little bit. Yeah, that one hit me a little differently than most movies do. But yeah, I mean, Roadhouse to me is a classic. The fact that your hero is a bouncer at a dive bar and he has a
Not only a
mentor.
bouncer, the most famous bouncer in the world, who negotiated his contract to be $5,000 a night.
Because of course, when realistically, if he didn't actually work at the Double Deuce, the fighting would have been almost zero because people just came to fight him as opposed to actually each other.
There's just so much about that movie that just doesn't make sense, and that's why I love it so much. I love ridiculous stuff. I love stuff that's outrageous. That I'm not saying Roadhouse is a bad movie, but I do enjoy movies that are supposed to be good that are actually really bad, like The Room, for example. Like
Mhm.
that's the type of humor that I have.
No, I think it's perfect. Like to me, growing up in that era, and looking back now on how ridiculous some of these movies were, like I go back to like Toy Soldiers, where these Colombians took over a private school and somehow the kids beat them and saved the day, while Louis Gossett Jr. is the dean and he's radioing everything in. Like the movies they put us through in that era, it was almost as if they want to see how stupid it could get, and people still pay,
And I
and we
love it.
continue to. Oh, it's amazing.
That's
It
why
is.
during the pandemic, when Money Plane just came out of nowhere, I was along for the ride from the start. I tried to get everybody on board.
I think you tweeted about that daily for like 6 months,
I
if I'm
still
not
do.
mistaken.
I will beat stuff into the ground on Twitter. People know this about me,
I love it.
and I don't care.
So speaking of beating things into the ground and your constant love, um, Alex Smith is retired.
Why?
Gard,
Why do we have to bring that up?
I'm
I thought
getting to
this
my
was a
point.
show between
I,
friends.
it is Gardner Minshew is no longer starting.
Mhm.
Who are we turning to now? Who is Sal's savior? Do you have someone you're eyeing right now that can take that's the heir to the throne?
Well, I thought you followed me on Twitter. Don't you see how often I tweet about Cordell Patterson?
That is not a quarterback. And yes, I do see how
He's
often you
thrown
tweet about.
passes in his life. He's a running back, receiver, kick returner. He's the ultimate super flex.
And I believe we talked about him scoring 17 points on his bye week.
Exactly.
Oh, first. So that's who we're going with. We're leaving the court because you're the original 2 QB guy. I thought it had to be a quarterback. Now you're
Yeah,
going with just a weapon.
yeah, you can put a weapon in your super flex spot.
Fine. Okay, fine.
I mean, if you really want me to go through all the names of the quarterbacks, I can.
I just thought I was going to get a quarterback that I wasn't expecting. Like
Oh, I
I,
see.
I,
I
I,
mean, there's a good chance it could be Mike White very soon.
I like that.
I'm a big fan of The White Lotus and Enlightened.
Mhm.
Two very good miniseries if you've never seen them on HBO.
So you need to be in an entertainment blog because you are plugging shows that everyone's going to be watching now.
I think there is an outside chance. I'm still holding out hope that we get a Kellen Mond sighting at some point.
Mhm.
But Kirk Cousins, he's playing adequate enough to not get benched. I will give him that. There is a possibility that maybe Geno Smith gets benched for someone who's not even in the league right now. And
That would
if
be
that
amazing.
happens, I'm all aboard that.
Hmm. We get some kind of former CFL star or XFL star coming in here, maybe an Arena League football player, or maybe we're going to new Kurt Warner, someone who's just bagging groceries right now.
I know. Sam Darnold is very close to getting benched. I've
Yeah.
shown my love for Philip Walker many times in the past. I refuse to call him PJ.
I like how you use his given name.
Yeah.
Makes you guys feel close.
Who else is there? I mean, you did mention Gardner Minshew. I 1,000,000% do not want Jalen Hurts to get benched, but it would open the door for a Gardner Minshew return.
You think, oh man, Jalen Hurts is so exciting, but yeah, he is frustrating. And Philly fans are fickle. I could see them pushing for that.
I think. Do you need more names? I mean,
No,
I've been waiting for Mike Glennon to start all season. That's not going to happen unless Daniel Jones legitimately gets hurt.
realistically, I think even if Daniel Jones gets hurt, I think they might just go Wildcat over Mike Lennon. I think they may just say forget about it. I mean, because they are the Giants, it couldn't get much worse. So
I would not be opposed. Like I love anything that's chaotic.
absolutely.
Patrick Mahomes is injured. We've seen Chad Henne. We've seen Casey Keenum. There is an outside chance that Washington might go to their backup quarterback eventually.
I've been picking him up everywhere. I have
Yeah.
Kyle Allen on so many benches now. I just think it's coming.
I don't know why Pittsburgh. I mean, I know why Pittsburgh doesn't make a quarterback change because they don't have a single good quarterback anywhere on the roster. But would it really hurt to call up Cordell Stewart? Like, hey, buddy, you ready to come back?
I think they're still hurting from that playoff game where he's throwing the ball on the ground repeatedly. So I think Cordell is persona non grata in Pittsburgh. But you can't go Haskins. You can't go Rudolph. Hines Ward, maybe Hines Ward coming back and just being a pocket passer. Maybe that will extend his career a little bit.
I'm down for that.
That'd be fun.
There was a point in very early in the season where it seemed like Matt Ryan was going to get benched. He was not playing very well at all. He's turned it around now, but there's that outside glimmer of maybe we see Felipe Franks.
That would be amazing. The most amazing name in football. So you have to love that.
It's the NFL. There's going to be like 20 backup quarterbacks who are going to start by the end of the season.
So every time someone gets benched, I'm coming to you, and we're going to celebrate.
Well, I have my quarterback tracker. I update it every week.
Oh, that was
kind of light this season.
When you put out the spreadsheet, I was in tears with the current depth chart of quarterbacks. That was arguably one of my favorite tweets of all time. If I remember correctly, Tim Tebow was starting over Trevor Lawrence. There were a few made-up names in the backups, and yet people were focusing on the part that might actually be true when they were arguing with you. The amount of ridiculousness in that spreadsheet just made me happy because there was just enough normalcy that people started reading it like an actual depth chart.
See, like I know you love a good Twitter troll, and my favorite part of let's say the silly Twitter trolls, right? Not the people that troll just because they're assholes or trying to prove a point, but the people that just are trying to have fun on this website. And when other people that don't know about this person's personality come in 1,000,000% super serious, upset, and you just don't give into them, and you just watch them go around and around and around trying to get you to say you're wrong and they're right. That is the best part of the silly, nice kind of Twitter trolling.
Oh, it is. We've talked about this on your show. It is like my favorite thing when somebody tells me how dumb I am on a tweet where I am crying, laughing, and I'm like, and I try to get them to teach me football, which is the most spectacular thing in the world to watch people try to talk football, and you're just like, no, I'm still not with you. Could you bring it down one more level for me? Yeah, I don't. I wish more people had fun on this app because if you do it the right way, it can be a lot of fun. Today, I won't give in to the fact that I retweeted a poll about Jamar Chase.
Oh boy!
Now it said, would you trade Jamar Chase for 11 first round picks?
It wasn't. Would you trade for that receiver the guy tweeted about that if you put him in the Bengals offense would be better than the receiver he's replacing? Because I can't remember the name of the receiver.
Oh, it was Devonta Smith. Yeah, that was Devonta Smith. Yeah, that was my friend Nathan also having fun on this app.
No, but wasn't it someone who was like, wasn't there someone like serious who named like a really bad receiver?
No, this one I think was Devonta Smith. And he was having a blast with everybody. He was DMing all the responses, and I was absolutely in tears. It's one of the best threads ever.
Oh, okay.
But this particular one was Jamar Chase for 11 first-round picks. And I retweeted it saying, you don't trade proven talent for lottery tickets. Now, what I admitted in the DMs to a few people who are my friends that are like, are you crazy? I thought it said 3, not 11. But what I didn't do was stop fighting on the timeline with everybody because I was already in it. So we just kept rolling. And I must have gone back and forth with like 15 people. I'm like, I don't care what you say. No, I'm not taking the picks. Having realized halfway through the argument, I had the wrong number of picks. It was 11. And yes, there's not a single person I wouldn't trade for 11 first-round picks. But at that point, we're already there.
I don't play Dynasty, but I know if I had 11 first-round picks, I would just waste them all.
Yeah.
They'd just be wasted picks.
Oh, of course. And me too. But if I could get 11 and trade 4 of them here and 4 of them there, I could get better than Jamar Chase.
That sounds like a lot of work, though.
It was. And
like
what I did instead
you're turning one trade into at least 2 more trades.
It's a lot of effort. Yeah. And a lot of talking to people. I'm not a huge fan of people, so it was a lot. But yeah, we just have fun. And sometimes when you're already in it, you just stay in it. And even when you lost, keep them on the hook for a little while because it's why Twitter was made. It's a social app. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
All right. So you've seen every episode.
I have.
Did you prepare for the final question?
Yeah, I have the final question. I'm going to ask it to you, though.
Okay. But I'm the host.
Are you the host?
I don't know anymore. You keep telling me I'm not. You're going to ask me or I'm going to ask you?
I am going to ask you the final question.
Do you know what the final question is?
Yeah, I have it. I'm ready to go. I told you I had notes.
All right, go ahead, host Sal.
Why is this show called Late Night Vibes? It was 4:00 my time when we started recording. You're not going to post this until 6 p.m. Eastern on a Thursday. What is so late night vibing about that?
Well, so late night is a vibe, and that's what we put in there. Like a vibe is a feeling. It is a state of being. And for me, my state of being is very tired after 5 p.m. So when you go to bed at 8, we're recording right now at 7:34. After we're done recording, I'm going to brush my teeth and go to sleep. So realistically, we have recorded this episode at the absolute latest part of the night that I'll be conscious for. And that's why the vibe for me of late night is 7 p.m. If you're not a morning person, if you sleep late, maybe your late night vibe is like 11 p.m. or midnight at 1 a.m. That's usually when I'm waking up to pee from already have slept for 4 hours. I can't really do a show during that time. And I'll be up at 4 a.m. ready to party. So when you take an old man like myself, late night just shifts. It's kind of like daylight savings. It's like old man savings. Where 6 p.m., 7 p.m., pretty damn late for me.
But if you wanted to get like the true essence of a late night vibe, why not sleep all day, wake up, let's say 10:30 p.m., get the show started 10:45 p.m., run it through, let's say 11:59 p.m. You call it a night, and then just go back to bed, and you just sacrifice that one day a week to get the true late night vibe essence.
Well, that's a lot of work.
Okay.
And I really like sleeping. Like
but you still won't be sleeping. You just be shifting the times of sleep.
No, but you're putting a big hole in the sleep. Like you're putting a hole. Like so, the beginning is just a nap. Like when I normally sleep, you're asking for a nap.
Okay.
So now I wake up from a nap. And can you imagine what I would look like hosting an episode?
It'd be different than this.
It would be probably not. Actually,
you got the backwards hat. You have the hoodie. It could be a onesie.
You make a good point. All right, fine. We will do next time when we have Sal shows up to Hang with Daddy Part 2. We will do it at midnight. Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
All right.
Because I want to be on the true late night vibing show.
And we'll do it live.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll be the only gig in town.
100%.
Yeah. People show up and they'll just ask us questions. So I'll be way too tired to ask you anything.
All right. So I am now ready for your final question.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You know what it is?
Of course I know what it is.
All right. Final answer, guy. Give me the best sandwich.
Eggplant Parmesan.
Wow, you did know.
I know.
You did know.
I watched every episode. Then you also said that Chris gave the 101 of answers. So what's the point of even asking anybody else this question?
Well, because
they're either going to cheat and say that so that you tell them how good their answer is, or you just think their answer sucks and you're just going to make them feel bad.
It's not that your answer sucks. It could have been better.
As good as the other one.
But which eggplant parm? Like, is there a specific place? Is it homemade?
Yeah, it's homemade. My mom makes the eggplant parmesan. I get some pretzel buns. I throw it in there. It's delicious.
So I don't know if your mom's eggplant parm is not the one.
The border's open. Why aren't you coming over for dinner?
I didn't realize you have an eggplant parm. Did you?
Did you never see me tweet about eggplant parmesan?
Did you tell me that today was eggplant parm and I should come up?
Every day is eggplant parm day.
Every day is eggplant.
Every single day.
All right, fine. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Ooh, I like this. Hanging with Daddy, live episode at midnight in Canada, eating eggplant parm.
Let's do it.
All right. But can you come back to the Toronto side? Because you're really far away right now.
Why can't you just take a plane from Toronto to Vancouver?
Because I'm already driving to Toronto. Toronto.
Drive to Vancouver then. How long does it take for you to drive to California?
3 days.
Well, there you go. Drive there and then fly from California.
That is literally the worst way to get to Vancouver from Boston ever invented.
You think I have a map in front of me? I don't know.
No, clearly you don't. Okay, anyway.
I'm in Canada.
Why are
American geography?
Why are you ending it on a bad note? Everyone's going to think we're not friends. Man.
Okay, ask me another question.
Everyone's talking about how great it is. Oh, what a great show, Mike. It's such fun. And you just come on here and argue with me. And now I'm just bummed. And I told you it was bedtime, and now I'm going to be sitting up all frustrated from this show.
So let's do the Late Night Vibe Part 2 live stream right now if you're not going to bed.
Well, because it's still not late enough for you. You're still judging.
I mean, it's never going to be late enough because I'm on the West Coast.
All right.
You're 3 hours ahead of me.
All right. Well, anyway, next week.
Okay, here. I have a question for you then. Let's end it on a positive note.
Okay.
Since we already know what the 101 of sandwiches is, what is your personal 102 of sandwiches?
The Cuban.
And why?
The Cuban. So I ended up going to the middle of woods, New Hampshire.
And you had the most amazing Cuban that you didn't know that they have a Cuban there.
Right? You heard this story. That's the 102. We already covered that. That was 3
3
episodes back. Man, apparently your mom's eggplant parm. It sounds spectacular. Yeah, no, it definitely varies. I think that sandwiches are, depends on your vibe, how you're feeling at that time. Good mind. Yeah, no, you labeled yourself properly. This has really been depressing. Like, I'm not sure we're gonna do next week's episode. Now I have to tell Ashley that I'm not certain that we're gonna do next week's episode because
Who's the
Sal
guest
bummed me
next
out.
week?
Ashley from the Undroppables. Have you seen her? She does spectacular TikToks from the
No.
Undroppables. She did one show too about CTE and some of the studies she had done, and it was absolutely amazing. She is an outstanding guest. She has her own show, which you absolutely want to check out, the Unscripted show. So there is a ton to be excited about for next week's guest, if I can get my spirits back up to where they should be.
What's Ashley's Twitter handle?
Ashley. Oh, so we're gonna do a whole introduction of Ashley.
Let's just prop up Ashley so everyone goes home happy.
We should. So Ashley's Twitter handle is Ashley Marie.
Mm-hmm.
It is Ashley with 2 A's, AASHLEY_ Marie, MARIE. You can find her at The Undroppable. She's the co-host of the Unplaybook. She is the host of their TikTok streams, and also you'll see Tommy Moe doing a lot of TikToks for The
I know
Undroppables as
Tommy's
well.
a good guy.
Tommy's spectacular. We're going to have to get him on this show as well. He and I have wildly different opinions on Raiders players, which is always fun. So I troll him on Josh Jacobs on the regular. But yeah, so Ashley will be on next week. We'll be talking about our new show on Playbook. We'll be talking about TikToks, and we'll be having fun. Unlike this show, where I've basically just been
horrible.
It's been terrible, but we always leave on a good note. You know why? Because we're bringing out Gabe. And Gabe is going to bring us out and do a wonderful outro. Sal, I never know what to expect with you, buddy, and it is always fun. You know I love you, even when we have these fights.
They're not fights.
No,
they're just
never.
friends talking. Everybody go follow Ashley. Go follow Mo. Go check out The Undroppables. Make sure you follow Mike on Twitter at Daddy's Home FF. Good night.
There's Sal. Here comes Gabe. Have a good night, everybody. Later.
Get down. Turn on the pod 'cause we looking at live right now. Peeling it back, take a quick look inside. All of these analysts, daddy gon' handle this. Know he's a baddie, I know he ain't bad at this. We gon' lay back, talking irrelevance. Why do all that? Just for the hell of it. Hanging with daddy. What's the vibe though? Late night vibes. Hanging with daddy. What's up, Mike? Turn it on right now. I got the remote now. Hanging with daddy.